C2, first one. What are we expecting the first question to be before I even turn it over? Trapezium rule, okay? And lo and behold, it is. Okay, so things that I'm looking at, 5 ordinates. What does that mean? 4 strips. You can write on the exam paper as well, by the way. Have to. Treat yourself. Okay. What else am I looking for? Not a lot else that I don't want to not get marks accredited for not writing down. Okay. So C2, was it Jan 12, isn't it? Number 1. So what's the first thing I'm going to go work out? H. Make sure you show that because you get a mark. As soon as you work out H, you get a mark. Okay, so how do I work out H? Yeah, 3 take away 1. So that, take away that. And then divided by the 4 strips, so divided by 4. That's a half. We're then going to go and write down x0 is equal to 1 because that's the bottom limit there. And then we're going to go up in 0.5, so 1.5. Didn't mean to write that 1 there. X2 would be then 2, x3 would be 2.5, and then x4 would be 3. And I stop because that's my top limit, yeah. So then we get y0 is to go equivalent to that. We generate those very, very clever way. Calculator on. In C2, 90% of the time we want to see a little d there, okay? It doesn't really matter in this question, truth be told, but 90% of the time, like I said, we're going to want to have like a little d there, okay? So I'm pressing mode and 3, I get f of x equals, and I just write in this formula here. So I get the fraction button, alpha to get an x, and then 1 plus the root of x. Press equals, I start at 1, I end at 3, I go up in, my step is 0.5s, and then I have my table. So y0 is 0.5. How many am I going? How many decimal places am I going in this question? Good. Y5? So it says 3 here. Yeah, you always go 5 more. Go 2 more, sorry. Okay, so then the next one. Now I'm hoping some of you will probably beat me to this, okay? I might just shut up for a little bit now. Take you on. Remember, you just cut off on your 5th place as well. You don't actually round it properly. Now the formula for trapezium rule is given in the formula booklet, okay? So you can literally just go and find it, but you probably know it. It's not that hard. It's h over 2, and then it's the first plus the last, so it's going to be 0.5 plus the 1.09 bit plus 2 lots of the middles. Get my calculator out of that FX mode, just literally mode 1 or shift 9 3 equals to clear it. And then beat me to the answer? Yes! But I need to be right. It's all well and good being fast. If you get it wrong, it's a waste of time, isn't it? I've got that answer. Anyone else? Yeah? Cool. Okay then, so 4 marks down. Number 2, the first thing I want you to write with number 2, I want you to write down the 2 facts that I said you must learn these facts. Can anyone tell me what the first one is? Say again? The question for 2, what are we expecting it to be? Any ideas? The question is sine and coses. Okay? So what are the 2 things that we need to learn?
Sine squared equals square equals 1.
Good. Sine squared theta plus cos squared theta equals 1. And Oh, hello. Whatever. Sine theta over cos theta equals tan theta. I'll just write them down as soon as you get into exam. The questions will be using those two theories. Okay? Part A. So we've got 10 sine squared theta. I'm going to write it down. 10 sine squared theta plus 7 cos theta equals 5 cos squared theta and then plus 8. Okay? There's one term in there that is unbelievably important. Only one that's important. There's 4 terms, only one that's really important. Any idea which one it is? Yes. That's the important one. That is telling you everything in the question must be in terms of cos. That's in terms of cos, that's numbers, that's fine. That's in terms of cos, that isn't. So we need to change that. So we become 10 bracket, what are we going to change the sine squared for? Good. 1 minus cos squared theta equals 5 cos squared theta plus 8. Now it's up to you how confident you feel. I feel confident enough personally to expand the bracket and then collect all the terms in one go, but you may not want to do that. If you don't, it's fine. Just take another line. So if you're not confident, this is the best thing to do. You then make a quadratic where you have a positive cos squared. So I've got a minus 10 cos squared there, so I'm going to take it over to get 15 cos squared. I've got to make this equal to nothing, so then I'm going to get minus 7 cos theta here. And I'm going to have, I think, is it minus 2? I think so. Now the top trick that I would suggest here is to make this statement here, but you don't have to if you're confident enough. Let x equal cos theta, so then 0 is equal to 15x squared minus 7x minus 2, which is something we probably just feel more confident with factorising. Much more so than that. It's the same thing, it's exactly the same thing, but it's easier to factorise when it looks like that. So we times 15 by minus 2, which is minus 30, and they have to add up to minus 7. Can anyone give me a pair of numbers that do that?
Minus 10.
Very good, minus 10 plus 3. So then, I'm going to just drop just the square term there and say 15x and 15x there. And then what's going in the first bracket? Minus 10. And then what's going in the second bracket? Plus 3. I like this thing that you don't answer any of the questions. It's good, isn't it? But if I use this method, what else must I do? I must simplify. It doesn't work because what's 15 times 15? It ain't 15, is it? Okay, it's like 225. So I make that 3x minus 2 and 5x plus 1. Okay? Solve that then. So we get x equals, just about see what I'm writing here, x equals 2/3 or x equals minus 1/5. What was x? So we have to change it back now, okay? You don't have to do that bit at all, but it's really nice. I used to have to do it. When I was your age, I had to do it. When I taught it for the first year, I had to do it. When I then taught C3 and C4, I didn't have to do it. Okay, so I had to do it anyway. I feel confident now not to do it, but don't worry if you're doing it. It's not a problem at all. I'm just going to turn over and write that out again. So what's it? Cos theta is equal, is it 2/3 and minus 1/5?
Yeah.
Okay. So we use all silly tomcats now to save ourselves a bit of time. Not to worry too much about the graphs. Let's do the 2/3 first. Cos the minus 1 of 2 divided by 3. If you say you get like a really small answer like 0.8 or something like that, any idea what might be the issue? You're in radians, yeah. Okay, so if it looks like a weird answer, well, that seems like a small angle, just check it out. It's probably got a little r there. Okay, because that's positive and that's cos, I'm going through all and cos, and that is 48.2 there and 48.2 there. So my two answers are theta equals 48.2 and 360 minus that answer, which is 311.2. Sorry. What about for this one here? How do I deal with a minus?
Chuck it in as positive.
Say again?
Put it in as
You chuck it in as a positive and you deal with a negative in the diagram. So rather than going through all and cos like we would for a positive, we're going to go through this mirror image, which would be sine and tan. Okay?
Isn't it 3 instead of 11?
Yes, it is. Just checking. So cos to the minus 1 of just a fifth. So I'm going to put in just a plus a fifth there like that to make it really obvious that I haven't missed that minus. That has to be a plus. So that is 78.5. I'll show you like a neat trick to put this into your calculator quickly. We want to do 180 minus that answer, and we just do 180 plus that answer. So if I do 180 minus answer, I get 101.5. 1.5. But then if I press up on my calculator and press equals again, you shouldn't be pressing the on button. Can anyone tell me why we don't press the on button?
That's really your answer.
If you press on, it deletes all the memory in it. Whereas if I press AC, it's back there. I can just go and get it back. Okay, so if I press equals again, I have that answer. You have to press equals again, though, to get it back in your calculator as your answer. And then just do 180 plus ands, and then it just does it for you. You don't have to do that. You can literally just go and do it as 180 minus that, 180 plus that. It doesn't matter. It'll save you about 3 seconds. So if anyone wants to save 3 seconds, by all means use that trick. So 5 to 8.5. Okay? There is a way you can check. You can go and chuck that into that. It's not the easiest thing in the world to go and chuck that into this, to be honest. And it's something I'd do at the end of the exam. I wouldn't do it now, okay? And only if you have like 20 minutes at the end of the exam. Okay, it's really not that important. Part B. These are the ones I used to hate the most when I was your age. I found them easily the hardest ones. Sine x minus 50 equals minus 0.682. Okay? What's the first thing I'm going to do? How am I going to try and solve this then? Good, we're taking sine over and it will become sine to the minus 1. And when we sine to the minus 1 thing, that's what generates lots and lots and lots of answers. Okay? So I'm going to take sine over, but I can tell you now already I'm not really going to do it of minus 0.682. I'm just going to do it of 0.682. That's not an accident, I've forgotten that. That's not an accident. So when I do my all silly tomcats, what letters am I going through? T and C. I've dealt with the minus in the diagram rather than in the question. Because if I did do sine to the minus 1 of, what, minus 0.682, I get a rank answer. I don't want that answer. So if I get rid of that minus, it's much easier to go and find it here, which is 43 and 43. Okay, so x minus 50 is equal to 180 plus 43, which is 223, and 360 minus. 317? Oh, lovely. That's useful, isn't it? Right, what's going on here then? Why has it gone off? We're back in the room. Okay. Let me know if it just goes off again, okay? So we're happy with those two answers there? Yes or no?
Yeah.
It may be the case that we need to play around with this range. Do you remember doing this? So this is actually really nice. Usually we're given something like 2x plus 45. We haven't got that. We just need to take 50 off each of those. So we are expecting to receive answers in the range of minus 50 is less than x minus 50 is less than 310. That 317 is outside of that range, so I'm not interested in it. So I can put a line through it. It's not that it doesn't exist, it's just it's outside my range. Now that means there's probably one inside my range. So how am I going to find this answer here?
Minus 360 from
Why?
what, 317?
Why?
Sine repeats every 360.
Good. Sine repeats every 360. Now there's a sort of fail-safe option to get this, right? You know those two answers you find? Go and add 360 to each of them. Go and take away 360 from each of them. You'll get 6 answers. You'll find way more than you need to, but you'll definitely find all the ones they're looking for. That's like a safety way of doing it, okay? So if I do the 317 minus 360, I get minus 43, which is in that range that I'm looking for. So minus 43 would go in there. Okay? That is outside range. Okay? So then, how am I going to just go and find out what x is? You just add 50 to each of those answers. So minus 43, add 50, 7 degrees. comma, and then 223 add 50 to 273. If I wanted to, I could say it's 367, but that's still outside the range, isn't it? So it's still a waste of time. That's why I didn't bother doing it, really. When I put the line through it, I wouldn't have really done that in my own personal solution, okay? Very easy way to check. Much easier than the last one. It says sine x minus 50, so let's do sine 7 minus 50. What should I get when I press equals? Well, I should get that to 3dp. Boom, yeah! Just as well we're muting, isn't it? So no one hears me say that. Lovely. And then you've got no proof that I said it. And I'll deny it. C, we've got sine phi. Do you know why they do that different symbol there? It's just we've already worked out what theta and x are, so they've got to use a different symbol because it's like it all in like part of that question. Is equal to 3. Okay. Any ideas how we're going to do this? This is another fussy one as well. This is the ones, you know. We want to be going for this one. I can tell you that this will be the one that people in other schools will be messing up. They'll look like, oh, I don't know. But no idea.
Was it cos?
Yeah, we haven't used sine over cos yet, have we? Okay. So we've got two options here. Probably, yeah, the best one I would do is I'd divide everything through by cos. I'd divide every single element through by cos. If I divide every single element through by cos, it still equals. Oh, actually, I think this is a stupid idea in hindsight. Yeah, what do we get? We get tan phi plus 1 equals 3 over cos. Don't say anything, James.
Oh.
No, let's not do that. It's a waste of time. As that guy said yesterday, not yesterday, last week, great mathematician made me say, it's fine to be doing some brainstorming here. Okay, so let's think of a better way to do it. James.
You just say, well, sine theta or cos theta can't be greater than 1 each time.
Oh, what? I haven't read the question. Read the question. That's a great start. Explain why carrying out any calculation. Explain why there are no values for that. Sine phi has a max value of 1. Cos phi also has a max value of 1. So cos phi plus sine phi, or sine phi plus cos phi, has got to be less than or equal to 2. It can't be any bigger, can it? I'll just say something like that. Anything towards that degree is fine. You can say 1 plus 1 equals 2, it can't be any higher than 1. If you want to physically write those words, fine, it's the same thing. Okay? Yeah, read the question. Always a good tip. Okay, number 3, any idea what it might be before I show it? Tend to be a very, very generic sort of like way. They always tend to be in the same order. Triangle, yeah, it's sine and cosine rule. Okay, let's do a little bit of thinking here. What we told. Okay, this thing here we're not. It's quite important. I'm going to go and write that on the triangle. I'm going to put in here equals 6.75 centimetres squared. Careful how much writing you do on the paper because you don't get any marks for anything you do on the paper. But one thing I would be doing is writing out anything that we say, look, it's probably a good idea to learn this and write it down when you get into the exam. You can write all over this. My old uni papers, I had them somewhere. When I moved schools, I misplaced them. I'll probably find them now when I move out of this room. And I used to just write all over them. Like the amount of stuff I used to write in. And I was basically, you go in, obviously it's cheating if you go in with revision notes, isn't it? You'll get struck off the exam. However, if they say now you can start writing, you start writing out all the stuff on the exam paper that you just learned just outside the room. Go, right, I'll learn all this stuff, write it down. You're doing the exam with revision notes. That's when I went from getting like D's and C's in exams up to A's. It's like I'm just doing an exam with revision notes. It's easy. Okay, really good tip for you. Okay, so I think it says show that x satisfies the following equation, hence evaluate x. Even if you can't show that equation, how are we going to evaluate x from looking at that thing? You're going to factorise it. So worst case, if we can't do it, just ignore that we couldn't get it and then just use what they've given us anyway. And that's why they tell you. It's so that you can still go on and do part B and part C if you couldn't do the very first part of A. Any idea how we're going to work out that then? Anyone know how we're going to do it? Cosine rule would require me to know all 3 sides and angle by the end of the question. I currently know 2 and 1. Say again? Yeah, it's going to be the area, okay? Now, when we're talking the area of the triangle, you need to have two sides meeting at an angle. Luckily, I can see that's the case, okay? So there's a half AB sine C. I'm going to write that generically, and I'm just going to sum in those numbers. I'm not really going to rearrange the formula. We'll auction off my my exam results afterwards if anyone wants them. Raise money for charity or something, shall we? So area is equal to a half AB sine C. Area we know is 6.75. And that's a half of x, and then 2x minus 3, and then sine 150. Okay, right, there's a couple of things I don't like. I don't like this half bit when I'm going to be dealing with all this nonsense. Let's just go and check what sine 150 is. I bet it's a half. Yeah, it's as if I've done this before, isn't it? Sine 150 is a half. A half times a half is a quarter. Agreed? So we could change that now to equals a quarter x 2x minus 3 and then 6.75. Don't like the quarter. Get rid of the quarter. How do we do that? Yeah, times the other side by 4. So 6.75 times 4 is 27. And then expand this bracket here so we get 2x squared minus 3x. That's all looking good now, isn't it, for what we needed? So 0 is equal to 2x squared minus 3x minus 27. Ah. There. Part A, not done because not evaluated what x is. So that's just factorising again. We've already done that once today. 2 times by minus 27, minus 54, minus 3. Not the nicest pair of numbers in the world. It's got to be one of each sign. I'm going to write down a few. 9 and 6, 6 and 9. Yeah, cool. Don't worry if you do a few more, it doesn't matter, does it? That's basically what I'm doing in my head. What else could it have been? Not really much else, to be honest, could it? 27 and 2, I suppose. 54 and 1. 3 goes in there as well. 3 and 18. Ooh. Yeah. Didn't think of 3 and 18, did you, Flynn? Doesn't matter. Didn't get it, did you? So 2x plus 6, 2x minus 9, so 0 is equal to x plus 3 and 2x minus 9. So x is equal to minus 3 or x is equal to 9 over 2. Which one is it? Is y? It has to be. Why could it not be minus 3? Oh, hello. This side here is minus 3 centimetres. Doesn't make sense, does it? No. Impossible. Don't have to cross it out as long as you make sure that's your answer, okay? So we've done that bit there. Let's just see where we are now, okay? Oh, no, we haven't done that bit there. That's a lie. I haven't done that bit yet. Find the length of BC. So, Lewis, any idea how we're going to find BC? Any idea how we're going to find BC?
I'm still just, no, that's all.
You do, 'cause you've already said it.
No,
It's
I
cosine.
can do it, but I'd have to look at it for a couple of seconds.
Okay, well, it's your initial thought that you said before, okay? So we're using the cosine rule there. Now, to use the cosine rule, it's a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc, cos a, where we know capital A, and we know capital A. So it's literally just running through our formula there, so that's little a. Now, bear in mind here, we know that x is 4.5, don't we? Where's that come from? We just worked it out, didn't we? 9 over 2 is 4.5. It's the same thing. And then that would be, what, 9, take 3. So this side must be 6 centimetres. Maybe a good idea to actually go and work those out. So we just found out, I would say, as x equals 9 over 2. Okay? So when I'm subbing into the cosine formula now, or the cosine rule even, I'm going to say it's 4.5 squared plus 6 squared, and then minus 2 lots of 4.5 times by 6 times by cos 150. That will give me an answer. I'll then square root it, and then I've worked it out. It's about 10-ish, is it? 2. Well done for reading the question. I would have done it to 1 if I hadn't read the question. Read the question. It does usually say, if in doubt, do it to 1. Just did what I said. 2 dp. We happy with that? Good. So now we have done that. The point D lies on BC and is such that AD is perpendicular to BC. Wasn't this the one that came up in 2016? Something just like this. The one that we did last week. So it's there. What formula do you use normally to work out the area of a triangle? Base times height divided by 2. But the height has to be at 90 degrees. Well, this is because that's perpendicular to BC. Okay? So that's your D point. And we know what the base is. Now the base, we're leaving as that to leave it as a super accurate answer. So part C, I just say area equals base times height divided by 2. Should we say a half base times height? Maybe slightly easier in A-level format. We know the area. What's the area? 6.75. We can't see anything I'm writing here. 6.75, and then it's be half of 10.1496 blah 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 times by height. So here, to get that bit, I'm just going to say 0.5 times ans. So it's 5.07 blah 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 times by height, and take that over to the other side. It becomes divide. .33. Why have I gone to 2 decimal places there then? Any idea? I just said 1, didn't I, a second ago? I did for the area, and also actually in hindsight, reading the question, it says it wants it to 2 decimal places as well. Okay, but like I tend to just do what they've used throughout the question if they said that. Okay.
If you said it was 1.5, would you say that?
It probably wouldn't make a huge difference in all honesty. Let's have a look. So if we put in a half, let's put in 0.5 times by what was it, 10.15.
Yeah, same.
It's the same, isn't it? I just taught this because I was taught that it's a good rule of thumb to try and be as accurate as possible. You can see there, it's been so unbelievably accurate anyway. It's not made really any difference at all, is it? Okay, so 9 times out of 10, maybe even 99 times out of 100, it's not really going to make a difference. But it could be that one time, possibly. It'd be annoying if we lost it as well. It'd be noise for you, not for me. Okay, number 4. Okay, I've been doing a bit of tutoring of this recently. Somebody who's finding C2 like super hard. And we've come to what's like a reasonably good idea, which is if you go to the formula booklet, which annoyingly I don't have handy, I don't suppose anyone's got a copy of it on them by any chance. No, that would have worked out way too easily. But if we go to the formula booklet, it tells you all of this stuff in there, and we've been writing it down straight away, so maybe not a bad idea. Okay, go to the formula booklet. You're looking for arithmetic series progressions, and it will tell you what all of those formulas are that you need to work in. Okay, so the 3 formulas it will tell you that un is equal to a plus n minus 1d. It will give you like a really weird formula for Sn, but I want to use the other one, which is n over 2, and then 2a plus n minus 1d. They talk about in the formula booklet, it will tell you stuff like a plus l times by n over 2, and it basically stands for first plus the last term, which is how I proved it, if you remember. Okay. Now it's a case of reading the question now. So what does it say? It says the 15th term is means what sign do we write when we say is equals. We're good at that now. I feel really confident with that now. It's the first time I've ever felt that confident with any class actually with you lot. The 15th term is 7 times the 5th term. The sum of the first 11 terms is 88. Okay, so we're going to write out U15 is equals 7 times the 5th term. So U5. Statement 1. Statement 2. The sum of the first 11 terms, so that would be S11, is equal to 88. All good thus far? Cool. Okay, so U15 is going to be A plus 14D. 5 times the 5th term, so 5 brackets, and then the 5th term is going to be A plus 4D?
7 times.
7 times. Yes, as I've clearly written. So A plus 4D there. Yeah?
6.
4D. 4D, yeah? n minus 1d, isn't it?
But it's 7.
7 times the fifth
So is
term.
it?
So the 7 will times by what the fifth term is. The fifth
Okay,
term is
yeah,
a. All,
okay.
all good? It's fine, ask. You're unsure.
Right,
Oh, it's the wording that you just saw me make. I just made them really simplistic, didn't I? Okay, so everyone makes them. So I'm not trying to find them if you do make them, okay? So then we're going to get, what, a plus 14d equals 7a plus 28d. I think we're going to get a negative either way here, aren't we? Unfortunately, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to have minus 6a is equal to 14d. Can I cancel that down again? Minus 3a is equal to 7d. Might be more useful in that format. We'll see. We'll leave it as that. If we want to do if we want to, we could say 3a plus 7d equals 0. That's another way of writing it, okay? But I'm a big fan of the substitution method here. I'm sort of gearing up for that. Even without doing that, I know it's probably going to come in either that or quite possibly that, okay? The sum of the 11 terms. So where we see n, we change it to 11. So it's going to be 11 over 2, bracket, 2a, plus n minus 1, so that's going to be 10d. Keep on trying to write thetas for some reason today, is equal to 88. Agreed? Cool. 11 over 2 is 5.5. Let's take that as times in the bracket now. Let's take it over to the other side where it will divide. So 2a plus 10d is equal to 88 divided by 5.5. Lovely. 16. That's sort of making me feel a little bit good. So I was thinking, oh, okay, that's probably working out then, isn't it? Okay. Now from here, I'm trying to think of what the best way of doing it is. It's probably the best way to do it is to times this by 3, I think. But there's other ways to this. It's simultaneous equations. There's so many different ways. If you want to overrule me and do your own way, that's fine. That's going to give me 6a.
So,
Yeah.
could you take the 10t over and divide the whole thing by 2 so just get a out its own summing?
Okay, let's do that. So we're going to get 2a is equal to 16 minus 10d. Divide that by 2 so we get a is equal to 8 minus 5d. Yeah? I don't know if there's any easy... Oh, okay, well, and sub that into that. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Okay, so sub 2 in 1. So minus 3 bracket, we know that a is the same thing as that. So we can chuck in there 8 minus 5d equals 7d. Expand, minus 24 plus 15d equals 7d. Do the old switcheroo here. 15d minus 7d is equal to 24. 8d equals 24. D equals 3. Goodness me, that was tough though. That wasn't nice. That was not nice at all. Therefore, into a is equal to 8 minus 5 lots of 3. So a is minus 7. Well done if you beat me to that. I found that hard. This is 6 marks. You should have been 6 minutes. We probably were. Given that the nth term of the series is 143, find the value of n. That's actually a lot easier than you think. Come back to this bit. This means nth term. So guess what that's changing to? 143. Okay. So 143 is equal to a plus n minus 1d, but we've just found out that d is 3, and we found out that a is minus 7, which looks a bit fussy doing that. I wouldn't recommend it in the exam, just trying to show where I'm finding these numbers. So 143 equals minus 7 plus n minus 1 times by 3. Now, we don't write the 3 at the back in case someone thinks it's cubed, so where am I going to write the 3 instead? Just at the front of it. That's where we commonly write that number, isn't it? Expand the bracket, collect like terms. So minus 7 plus 3n minus 3. Minus 7 minus 3 is minus 10. Take the minus 10 over, add it. So it's become 153 is equal to 3n. And then 153 divided by 3 is 51, I think.
Say, is this the next part?
Yeah, part B.
Part B.
Okay.
Guess no.
Is everything okay there, Flynn?
literally just like.
What's he talking about? Yeah, just ask, honestly ask. I won't be offended if you butt in, it's fine, okay? One thing that this answer has to be a particular type of number. Can anyone tell me what type of number this has to be? Why? A whole integer, yeah, a whole or an integer. Why does it have to be? It has to be an integer because if we're talking terms, you say, right, the first term of something is -7, the next is -4, the next is -1, and so on. You don't get like the 48.3 term. It's literally whole numbers, okay? So it had to be a whole number. So a little bit of logic we can use there, okay? I think we have got time to start 5. I'll do the proof and then we'll have break, okay? So number 5.
So we say true.
Yes, it's our good week. Okay. Now, to do this proof, okay, and guys, thanks. To do this proof, you need to be remembering. Can you remember I made you watch a video about 1 + 2 + 3 + 4 all the way to plus infinity comes to -12. -12, very close though. It's all about being a bit clever the way you write out your sequence. So the first term of an arithmetic series is A. Then we go up, rather than adding a common difference, so we have like 4, 7, 10, 13, that's an arithmetic series, so going up in 3s every time. We're times it by 3, so it'd be something like 4, 12, 36, 108, or something like that. Okay? So my next term would be plus AR. My next term would be plus AR squared, plus ... plus what is the last term? Very good, a to the r n minus 1. Okay? A way of thinking of it, this is the first term, this is the second term, this is the third term. If you look at the term number and the power, it's always 1 less. So 2 take away 1 is 1, 1 take away nothing is nothing, that's why it's not there. This is the nth term, so n take away 1 is n take away 1. Okay? Now what we do that's different to the arithmetic series, we reverse the order. Okay? That was Gauss who did that. He said add up all the numbers from 1 to 100 and he said, oh, it's 5050 like that. Because he just said, well, it's 100 lots of 101 Arvics, it's 2 lists. Okay? So we get another set of the list, but we times it by r. So it says RSN. So A times by R is AR, but rather than me writing AR here, I shift it along a bit. So it's there. When I do AR times by R, I get AR squared, and I shift that along a bit. And I end up getting all of the terms from the next term. Okay, so this is going to be AR n minus 1, but that was from times in the term before it. So what do I get when I times this by R? Good, AR to the n. Okay, we are then going to do, we're then going to take them away. What is Sn take away Rsn? Well, what I just said, we can't actually do anything with that. So it's Sn minus Rsn. A minus, well, there's nothing there. So A, but then they're going to cancel, they're going to cancel, they're going to cancel. But then I've got nothing, take away AR to the n. So it's be A minus AR to the n. We're almost done now. We've done the hard bit. Do you see anything common on the left-hand side? Sn. So let's take that out as a factor. Also, bear in mind that you've got it by here as well, so use that to help you if needs be. 1 minus r. Can you see anything common on this side? A. So that's 1 minus r to the n. And then, finally, just cheat. Just go and look at the exam paper. It tells you what it is. All good? We'll break there. Okay? 39 minutes we've taken so far.